So now, my friends, let's actually create those custom inputs and validate it one by one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my components in the auth itself. I'm going to create a new file. Let's call this auth input, for example, and then .gsx. And then simply I'm going to use RFC to generate this. And then what I have to do here is I'm going to just create a kind of a components for an input. So what I'm going to do is actually, instead of this input, I'm going to call this auth input right here. Can I get an import, please? Thank you. And then we will pass few data to it right here that we will need. The first one is going to be the name, and for this one is going to be even the name. So yeah, this is the name, is going to be the name. It could be like I don't know, your phone number, your email, whatever. That is the name for this one. And then we'll have type, and it's going to be text. And then also we'll have a placeholder. So placeholder right here, which is going to be like, for example, phone name, or just your name. Your phone name, it sounds too professional and I don't like it for just a chat app. So let's go register here, and we're gonna send that because we're gonna need that, and simply is gonna be register, and then also we're gonna need error to send it. So when we have errors, so we have to go to errors, and then we will go to name, okay, as this is for name, and then we'll go to the message because we're only interested in the message. All right, so this is a basic example. And we're gonna do a few other ones, of course, but let's just test with this one first. So I'm gonna go back to my auth input. Let me get those data that I'm gonna send. So the name, and name, and then also type, and then we have in placeholder, and then also we have in register, and then also the error. Okay, so let's start working on this one. I'm gonna remove this. I'm always trying to zoom in more so you can see better, but I feel like this is enough. So we're gonna have margin top to be 8, and then content to be center. Okay, so we're gonna make that in the center, and then we're gonna have text, and this one is gonna be text primary dark, so dark text 1, and also this is gonna be only in the dark mode, okay, as it's gonna be black in the light mode. So let's continue this one, and also I'm gonna have space y to be 1. All right, and then inside of this one we'll have a label, and this label is, do we need this? We don't need this HTML4. Okay, you can leave it and just add the name if you want to. It doesn't bother me. So for this label, just simply going to be the placeholder inside of it, and let's add some sort of class name to this one. So for the class name, what we will have for styling, the text to be small, and then also the font to be bold, and then we will have tracking white. Okay, simply letter spacing, I believe. So let me go. Yeah, it's letter spacing, and it's just a bit of spacing between the letters. So it was quite a cool class name to use. And then we'll have an input here, and this input, the type of it is simply gonna be the type we're passing. And then we're gonna have the placeholder also, which is gonna be the placeholder. And then we're gonna have also just simply, we're gonna spread the values of register here, and we will add that name here. It is very simple. And I want to add a class name because I want to style my input, of course. So class name, and for the class name, the width is gonna be 4, and then BG is gonna be dark, and then BG3. Okay, I believe, yeah, it is. And then also, and this one, sorry, is gonna be also in dark mode. I keep forgetting this. And then don't worry, our project is large, but don't worry, it's not that big of a deal. Just go, and then we're gonna have text base, and if you hover on text base right here, it's gonna show you what it actually does. Okay, it's like it makes the text back to default. Okay, because by default it is 16 pixels in the browser, and then also by default 1.5 render line height. So yeah, this is exactly what it does. And then for the padding y, it's gonna be 2, and then px, so padding from the x-axis is gonna be 4, and then the border radius is gonna make it round large. Okay, and then we're gonna have no outline, none, so there is no those boring sides. And then after this input, let's say we have an error. Simply, if we have an error, we're just gonna show a p tag, for example, with, let me have a p tag here, and the p tag that shows the error, sorry, right here, it shows the error. And then this simply we add a class name So class name is some weird colors. So we're gonna go, for example, text, and it's gonna be red 400. Yeah, let's use 400. And now if I go back and actually go back to my, okay, I can actually see something nice here. So yeah, this is nice phone name, and it says right here, phone name is required, and it's not gonna be able to submit. So, but it's not. Let me submit. Okay, it's not read. What's happened? Okay, let me go back to my auth input. Sorry, 400. I added another 0. Okay, font name is required. It's a bit zoomed in, so let's see it in its normal form. Yeah, this is better. You know, for you, you might not see this clearly because I have a large screen, so I have to zoom in for you to see. But for me, I see this is better. I'm just gonna make it only name. I don't like full name. Let me go to validation. I'm just gonna make it name is required. And also we're still not done with the validation right here. So one of the validation is we're not gonna allow any special characters. So I'm gonna go .matches, and we're gonna use regex for that. So let's start our regex right here. So we have to understand that we only should allow few things. So let me allow. So I'm gonna allow, let me show you what I'm gonna allow. We're gonna allow lowercase and uppercase letters. So yeah, this is totally fine. There is no problem with that. Some people will allow underscores in the name. I like it is fine. You know, I don't mind it because it's just a chat application. You can have underscores, and then also we're gonna allow space. And okay, you can repeat that. So yeah. And then also for the name, we had some sort of validation in the backend, so we have to match that. So for the name, we made some, it should be minimum 2 and maximum 16. This is for the name. So we have to do that also here. So how can I do that? So I'm just gonna go minimum, and then sorry dot minimum, yeah, minimum, and it should be 2. Okay, is it 2 here? Yeah, 216. Yeah, 216. So what we have to do is minimum is going to be 2, and we could say something, name must be between 2 and 16 characters. So I can take this one and I can use the maximum here and 16. So it's a message that's valid for both. And now we validated and created the name input. You can now test this. So if you added just one letter, sorry, can I clear this? You could say it should be between 2 and 16. If I added, like, for example, special characters, okay, name must be following. Sorry, we didn't add a message right here. That's why it was wrong for us. So let's say, for example, no special characters allowed. Something like that. Okay, that's better than that. Okay, so we go and see no special characters allowed. So that's better. Like if I use the underscore, it's totally fine. I use spaces. It's also, it is, let me try. Okay, no special characters allowed. Why is that? Sorry, let me just go back here and see what is the problem I have. Okay, sorry. It should be allowed for as much as, you know, as much words you could say we have. Okay, that was my mistake. Okay, now it's fine. If I added an underscore, it's also fine. Space is also fine, but we are more than 16, so that's why it was the problem. Thank God I didn't just go by it. I verified everything, and it is fine. You're learning more this way, okay? So it should be as much as we want, and this is just closing, and this is opening. Okay, this is just how, this is the start, this 2. And this 2 character for indent, and this multiply is much like for you can have multiple words, you could say. And this is only allowing the lowercase characters, uppercase characters, and then underscore, and we allow space too. And I have a cool website to actually, you know, test this and, you know, explain to you what this regex for. And we're gonna do it later, so we're gonna come back to it, and I'm gonna show you that website. So now the job is getting easier, way easier right now. So we're gonna have the second one is gonna be for email. Let's leave the text there. For the placeholder, I can go something like email address, and then I will just say this one is going to be email. All right, and then I can actually copy that again, and this time, so we're gonna have the name, the email, and then the password. But I want to also add status. Maybe, you know, it's something, I don't know, or yeah, well, let's add it. You can just leave it empty, but I'm just gonna add status, which is by default. Status is gonna be by default, hey there, I'm using WhatsApp. But if they want to have their own status, yeah, they can have it. So this is also gonna be status, and then add the password, and we have to validate also. I gotta remember. So this is password, the type is password, the placeholder password, and this one is going to be password like this. All right, so let me go back and see. Yeah, we have these inputs here. For the image is going to be different. We're going to have another type of inputs. So let me zoom out a bit. Let me go to the normal zoom in. Okay, this is better. And to actually continue in, so let's do the validation here. So let me go back. Let's go back to validation. And let's continue. So after the name, we will have email. So email, which is going to be up.string. And then also want to make sure it's an email. So email. So if it's not an email, we can say invalid email address maybe. All right. So I like to add the dots in the end. Okay, I've done that. And then also we have to be required. So maybe required should be before. So dot required. And let's say something like email address is required. All right. So let's continue after the email. And this one's going to be, what's going on? Here the dot should be. So don't worry, we'll test this. So let's test this right now as we go in. So no validation for the email. If I added just some random stuff right here, see, it's an invalid email address. If I add a gmail.com, now it's valid. So if I add something like a number here, yeah, it's quite a lot because some domains have it. That is just the truth. There is no perfect email address verification, to be honest. You know, this is what Yap give us, but it's still very good. Okay, don't count. For example, if I want to add another one, yeah, of course it's an invalid email address. But you see how the validation is going. Now we have to go to the status. So I'm gonna just copy this one here, and this one is gonna be for status. So status here, it should be required. So actually it's not required because, you know, we can allow to add it or not. One thing that we have to add is just like the maximum. Okay, so yeah, that is the only thing I can add. So maximum, and let me just go. I believe in the backend it was 64. So yeah, we're just gonna add this. So status, you know, must be less than 64 characters. I don't know even if I type this right, but figure out yourself. So now it is time for the password. So yep dot string also, and then we'll validate it's a right password. So first of all, it is required, and then required, we're gonna say something password is required. Okay, so now we have some sort of validation that is strong. So we're gonna create a regex to validate these things. So first of all, it should be at least 6 characters, and it should at least have 1 uppercase and also 1 lowercase, also 1 number and 1 special character. So it is gonna be such a cool regex right here because it's very important to make the password, you know, strong. If you don't want to, you know, just continue with this, but I'm just gonna make it. So there is this website that is called regexer.com, which you give it a regex and it explains it to you. So this is the regex I'm gonna add, and let me explain it to you. So what we did right here for the first one, can I actually zoom in or something? Okay, so let me zoom in a little bit here. So we are now maximized. So what we choosing now is you can read it actually right here. Like it says right here, this is like a positive look ahead. So this is like some condition that we have to follow, that it should be at least 1 character from A to Z, which means 1 character that is lowercase. And if you read down right here, you could see the first, let me just go top right here. Let me just go to the first one, sorry, this is the first one. And it says, you know, it's from A to Z range, and it matches a character in the range A to Z. Okay, that's me, and it's case sensitive, so those are lowercase. So it's match at least any character in this stage, 1 of them. Okay, so yeah, that is the first thing that we had here. The second one is also the same one, but for uppercase characters. And then we will go right here and we'll do the same, but this one we're going to use \then D, which stands for digits. So this is for numbers. So at least we gotta have 1 number. And then also we're gonna do the same, but this time we're gonna allow 1, you know, special character at least. And the special characters we're allowing are these ones. So @ and the $, exclamation, percentage, and the star, whatever you call it, and then question mark, and then end. Only those ones I'm allowing. And then at the end, we're just gonna allow, you know, as much as you want from this, you know, you can add as many as you want from, you know, lowercase, uppercase, numbers, and those special characters. So those numbers and characters and these special characters are all allowed, no problem how much you do, but one of them at least exists here. So if there is none of them, it's gonna be a problem. You have to at least have one. And then we're gonna have the length of it should be at least 6. Okay, this is the whole idea of this token, or not this token, you could call it token, but this regex expression right here. So we have to match this, and if you go down right here to the end, it's explained this perfectly. So let me just go on. Okay, so it says right here, so it should at least matches from the range A to Z, okay, at least, and then also from E to Z the lowercase, and then digit, and then also we're gonna have allowed the add and all these special characters right here, as you can see. This is the whole validation, and then we have to make it at least 6 characters. So yeah, this is simply what we've done. You remember, let me just give you the name of the website. It's regex.com. You have to remember that so you can test it yourself. So what we're gonna do right here is I'm gonna go dot matches here, and we have to actually paste all of that. Sorry, but I didn't add. You have to actually add the opener here. Okay, like this, and sorry, it was already here, and then we have to close it here. So this is our regex that we have to test, and then I can have my message. Let me add a message here that says, for example, something like, can you please just leave me alone? I want to type alone. Okay, so this template says, let's say password must be at least 6 characters, and then maybe must contain 6. Okay, let me just go must contain at least, or it was the same thing kinda. So at least, okay, yeah, this is how you type it, I believe. And then also we're gonna say 1 lowercase, and then also 1 uppercase. So let me start with the uppercase first. So 1 space uppercase here, and then 1 lowercase, 1 number, and 1 special character. All right, there is some libraries to do all of this for you, but why not learn a little bit of regex? It's not a bad thing to do. All right, time to validate all of this and test this. So if I go back, if I submitted, as you can see, those are required, the status is not. So for the phone name, we already did that. We're not gonna do that again. So let me just have this here. For the email, we already tested that. So I'm just gonna go Gmail, for example, Dosify, whatever. For this status, if I made something more than 64 characters, which, okay, you could see right here the problem. But like this, there's no problem. For the password right here, which gets tricky. So if I added just something right, okay, you'd see that I need to fill all these attributes. So let me show you what I'm gonna do. So for example, I'm gonna choose an uppercase character, which is, let me just show the password right here. Let me zoom in. So we choose this uppercase. Let me add another lowercase. Okay, so 2 now are valid. I need 1 number, so I'm gonna add a number, and then I need a special character, but also it needed to be at least 6 characters. So now I add something, and it is fine. So you see, this is how it works. And you know, many websites ask you to have a strong password for your own good, so you have to actually do that. It's not like they're against you. So now we've added all this important stuff right here.